Hello and welcome back to the channel. I know I haven't uploaded a lot recently, but I'm pretty excited today because what I have uploaded recently has all been drifting, and this one's going to be a little bit different. It's something I've been working on, stewing, putting together for the last probably year and a half, a lot of saving money to make this happen, but we are back working on coops, the R32 Silver Skyline. So this thing has been all over the place. It's gone to 2 different shops to get various bits of done. Both of them have been fantastic, the shops that we've been to. One for all the rust repairs and other bits and pieces, and then off to Born again for the final paint in their paint booth. So this thing is looking pretty good. I don't know if you remember, but this thing did have some big old holes in the rear quarters, both in front and behind both rear wheels. And even on this side, it had a bit of damage from a incident with a truck. So it's got a new rear quarter panel from another car on it. And well, at least quarters are looking nice now. This wing is actually the one that I nearly broke because I nearly stepped on it in the long grass where we found it at Todd's place back in the day. It came from the Missile originally when it was actually a street car. But it's a good sort of combination of both of those cars to have the wing on there. So got it painted. It's bloody heavy, these GTR wings. But yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest. Come around the front. Still got the Type M bar at the front. I think it looks pretty good. It's a bit different. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the car at the moment. But obviously there is a lot of work to be done. So I kind of like working on race cars, drift cars, because I don't have to worry about interior trim, speaker wiring, aircon, all that kind of stuff that you do on street cars, and you don't have to make it look perfect. But this thing, obviously, it's going to be a nice clean street car. It's going to have to look pretty good. We need to do it pretty tidy and do it right. So it's going to be a slow process to put it all back together, get the right bolts, get the right trim pieces, clips, all that kind of stuff. But I don't have a date that I have to get it ready for, so it's kind of nice not to have an event waiting for this thing to be done. So a lot of work to get done. I better go put it in the shed and actually make a start on this thing. So I'm going to make a start in the boot here. Born Again actually resprayed the boot because somebody attacked it with a rattle can, a black rattle can at some point. So they gave it a little bit of a spray. The reason I'm going to start here is because I've got this big space saver sitting in my study and it's taking up lots of room. I think maybe an alloy one in the future might be the ticket, but for right now, space saver is in. That was a hard day's work. Off to the pub. So it's time to put the mirrors on. These are looking beautiful. Only problem is I was given a box of bolts for the whole car. 1 box of bolts. So trying to work out exactly which bolts go where is interesting. It is time consuming, but I think I've got enough here to put the mirror on for the passenger side. So I guess I'll go do that. I mean they all go in, so I think this should be all right. Right? Step on the things. Taillight time. So a new day. We've got Sean helping us put a few bits and pieces on the car back together. So we're cracking into probably the most iconic part of a Skyline, the rear taillights. These ones here, we've got them all looking pretty, but on the back we've also cleaned up all of the old sealant. And it's a bit of a mess to do that, but we've got it done. We've also got this new tape. So you got to get the right type of sealing stuff for the rear taillight. It's still got to be like malleable. It can't completely dry. So we've got this stuff, much better than chalking, using the chalking gun. And 30 bucks for this whole 10-meter roll. And it is a dream to put on. So I'm going to chuck that on there and then off into the car. Sean's already done the first one.
Can I grind now?
Yes, you can grind now. Grind to your heart's content.
Can I grind with you?
So lights are all in the car, sealed up. Sean's over here working on the rear bumper, chucking in those reversing lights. So those were not looking too good, so he's giving them a good old polish. So they've come up looking good. So we've done the same with the number plate lights down here. So you can see this one's all looking good, polished up. This one needs a lot of work. I don't think that was illuminating much of a number plate. So yeah, years and years of rot on these things. Cleaning it all up and chucking that rear bar back on. Righto, so it's been a pretty long day. We've got the butt of the R32 all back together. Turns out the rear Rio was quite bent from the incident it had with the truck previously. So yeah, that's rear bumper needed quite a lot of attention just to get it somewhat centrally mounted. But we may need a new Rio at the end. Got the lights in, and yeah, back of the car's looking pretty good now. Had a few drinks throughout the day and been working on the system at the back here for the audio. It's a long way off actually needing an audio. The whole headset doesn't actually, or the whole head unit doesn't actually work, but I know once I get glass in here, it's going to be a pain in the ass to put all this in. So better off to do it now. Can't see it because it's so dark, but also working on the trim here. So a bit of a pain in the ass working on these full interior cars compared to drift cars, but it is in now and good to go. Got to work on the other side, find a few trim bits online, so hopefully we can put them in the car. But yeah, winning, and I'll see you on the next day. Righto, so new weekend. I've been collecting a few bits and pieces during the week. In particular, I've hit up Nissan and I've got a couple of clips here, which I was actually surprised you could still get them. The little white clips, they are these. They hold on a trim piece at the top of the door, and apparently they're specific to 32s, and Nissan actually had them in stock in Sydney, so I was impressed about that. And then these clips here are the ones that go in the front bumper. Those are a bit more expensive, but anyway, I probably could have got those black clips from somewhere local, but I couldn't be bothered messing around. Nissan had them, and I got 10 of them. So I got some globes for the rear lights because a bunch of those globes kept breaking, so I got new ones. And I also have the side marker that we're going to be using. So that is actually a side marker from an E46. These cars didn't actually have side markers on them, but it was an ADR thing, and it had some god-awful ones in the side here. They're basically like these blocks that stuck out of the side of the car. It looked like it belonged on like a, I don't know, like a 40s or 50s car. And very ugly. So Steve, who did all of the bodywork on the car, he actually ended up cutting out slots to put the E46 side markers in. So I think they look pretty good, particularly being white. They sort of mesh into the silver of the car and you don't really spot them. And they're something that, you know, it means I can go through Regency without problems. I probably also need to put a rear brake light on because the old rear brake light was actually in the wing, and GTR doesn't have one for the GTR wing, so think about that a little bit later on. But lots of little things to get to today, including putting the door trims on and all that fun interior stuff. So cut to some montage, I guess. So, flash forward, ended up getting this car out on the road on the weekend. It was a good time, lots of things to work on, but it was great to drive this thing. A lot of work was done to get it out for the weekend. Things like the turn signals, getting them working, putting the wipers on, getting the glass done in time, all that sort of stuff. But we made it. I actually had a car cruise organised, probably about 6 of us to go out. Some of my mates did a little bit of encouragement to get their cruise cars fixed and going. So used that as an excuse and got this thing out there to take it for its first drive in this, what I would call V1 format. So Sean, my mate, also Todd's mate, ended up driving it. Drove it up to the top of Montacute and it overheated. Don't think it's a fan related issue. There's no lack of airflow. This fan hub makes the car sound like a truck, if I'm honest. I think probably this engine's got a lot of crap in it and it's clogged the radiator, so we might be up for a new radiator, which not too bad, probably a good thing to do at this age anyway. Overheated at the top of Montacute. Then we told Sean, if it's going to overheat again, honk the horn a couple of times to give us some heads up and pull over to the side of the road. Naturally, there's a couple of big hills and it did overheat again, but ended up pulling off to the side of the road. We waited for it to cool down again. I swapped with him, so he started driving the E30 and I jumped into the 32. My section of driving from there to Lobethal wasn't really too hilly, so I didn't have any issues with overheating, but we did notice it. Anytime you went around a left corner fast, it also stunk of fuel. So got an O-ring that I think will fix that. I think it's just a O-ring that goes for the fuel hanger. And I had a similar sort of issue on the missile, but that actually ended up catching on fire. So I didn't want that to happen with this. We ended up, I just babied it around the left-handers. Made it back home. And I've got to say, it was a lot of fun to take it out there, but there is a lot of work to be done with it. Obviously, those things that we spoke about, it's a bit of a slug, to be honest, at the moment. It's RB25 turbo with stock boost, so it doesn't move terribly quickly and it has a lot of lag. But we'll work on that in the future. I think V2 of this car is probably going to be the genuine Nissan, I think it's Type M side skirts, which are already painted. I just need to figure out bracketry for it. We've got the pods to go on the back. We've got all that mechanical stuff to do, and we've also got the rear seats, the headliner, all that interior bits. So that's going to be V2, which I'm pretty excited about. And then V3 is probably going to be some wheels that I've got down here that are going to go back on an R32, not the same one, but they need barrels, they need a full restoration on them. So they're pretty cool, but they're also going to be pretty expensive to do. And I've got a baby on the way, which is about a month off. So between that, spending all my money on V1, I think I might settle for a little bit and go back to, well, not spending too much money. Although I'm going drifting in like 2 weeks, so I don't think I'll ever have money, to be honest. But anyway, thanks for watching. It's been good to document the history of this car. I really enjoy watching my old E30 videos when I did all the work on that thing, so that's what I wanted to do with this. I think we're getting there. It's gonna be good when it's done. It's good at the moment, and it's only gonna get better. So thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.